它来自全球食客最为推崇的乐土，它是海洋的恩赐，清澈无污染。它被誉为蓝色美食，平易近人，健康美味。今天，随我们一起品尝北欧美食，饕餮之旅即将启程。如果美食有颜色，北欧的主题色彩便是海洋的蓝色。由于陆地被大片的海洋围绕，海水冰凉清澈无污染，大量的海洋生物便是餐桌上不可替代的主角。就算在安徒生的童话里，海的女儿都被描绘成是婀娜多姿的美人鱼。
最令到我印象深刻嘅，佢哋用啲嘢其實好少油，咁但係都好好味，又好健康咁樣。我覺得嚟呢度食完一餐飯，我都唔會覺得即係好飽，好有罪疚感，驚要去減肥咁樣咯。
I really enjoy the scallops. When you think of Nordic, you imagine oceans, beautiful landscapes. Because of that, you can imagine the food being very colorful and fresh and very nice tasting. Because it's so clean there, the nature is so pristine that the food is very, very fresh and taste is very pure.
I've been already to Norway, we've been to Sweden, and we've been to Denmark, and we have enjoyed the food there because we love seafood, especially fresh. It's such a difference from the food that I eat, and I like the salmon that they bring from Norway, because Jaco, the chef, told me that the salmon is smoked with the wood from Finland. What a combination is that? I love that.
尽享海洋的美味恩赐，让北欧人对海洋心怀感激，而借由一道菜来表达这种情感，或是对品尝者流露出一种关怀，使得这里鲜美的鱼、虾、贝在他们手中幻化出不尽的美味。而深海中的大牌首选就是被称为滨海之皇的鲑鱼——三文鱼。
And normally when it arrives to Hong Kong, it's been caught 2 days earlier only. When it's salmon is very fresh, the bones are very hard to take out. That's the sign of a very fresh salmon. Now we have a clean salmon fillet. When we do gravatlaks, which is dill cured salmon, we use 2 whole fillets, and we put big chunks of sea salt, some our version, some grated beetroot, and then we marinate for 20 hours. Remove all the seasoning and then slice thinly. That's like ancient Nordic sashimi. Prime part for so-called salmon pastrami, and then other part of the very prime part for the cold smoked salmon. And then this stomach part we will pickle. Basically in salmon there's no leftovers. You can use the head to make a really nice soup, and all these small parts you can make smoked salmon mousse. It's one of the most versatile ingredients altogether. We really like to have this part of the salmon. It's really like a meaty part right in the middle, so its stomach has more fat, and I think this part is the texture is meatiest. But it's also, I think it looks prettiest. So we will make salmon in 3 ways today.
三文鱼有着很动人的故事。生在河流而长于大海的三文鱼，在产卵时是一定要游回出生地。漫长的旅程造就了三文鱼强韧的生命力。这种奇观现在已很少见了。如今大量的三文鱼是在海水里养殖的。挪威人用最先进的工业，据说每一道流程都严格监控，比野生的三文鱼更加健康。
First, this is Nordic seafood platter, and to keep the seafood cool, we use ice-age stones from Finland. It keeps hot or cold very well. We traditionally use it in saunas and fireplaces, but this time it's frozen, so it keeps the seafood cold. This one is cold smoked with wood from Finland. This one is seared with black pepper and fennel seeds. We have one what is pickled, so it's marinated with water, vinegar, sugar, salt, and some dill. This is how we would normally make herrings. Some baby clams, which are pickled also just like the salmon. Some mussels, which are poached, and there's some raspberry and red onion on top. We have some scallops. This is a sashimi crate from Hokkaido, but we do have scallops and sea urchins and a lot of all kind of seafood all around the waters of the Nordic countries. There's a little bit salt on the top, some pink peppercorn and olive oil. So it's like a modern Nordic sashimi. Two kind of Arctic shrimps. They're quite small and sweeter than the southern cousins. In Nordic countries, we like to have a deal with seafood because we think it gives a little bit like a refreshing flavor. And these are hot smoked, so they are cooked all the way. Malt bread is made of Finnish ingredients, malts, rye flour and dark syrup. You can put a little bit smoked salmon mousse on the top, then piece of salmon, and just a little bit of this mustard and dill dressing. You can make yourself little canapes.
三文鱼的食法千变万化，煎、烤、煮、烟熏或腌制，特色各异。备受欢迎的日本刺身多是用三文鱼，日式吃法有着强烈的芥末味儿，和三文鱼的黏浓与厚重的口感十分协调。北欧人则大多对烟熏或腌制的方式情有独钟。
Preserving methods, they are really Nordic. They've been used in the Nordic countries since salt arrived, because you need to have something for the winter. But even before people had salt, they still wanted to enjoy salmon during the winter, so they just buried it under the ground. But then, of course, when you take it out of after 2 months, the texture is more like French cheese. So this one is modern way. So after 2 hours of curing, a lot of flavor went in, and some of the natural liquids came out. And now it's preserved salmon. We make the so-called salmon pastrami first. It means a cured salmon, what is seared with black pepper and fennel seeds. Some people also eat raw salmon, but actually a lot of people, including myself, before I didn't like salmon sushi. It's not that we wouldn't like the raw salmon taste, but just with it's quite fatty, so a little bit salt. Just like with Japanese or us, we eat it with soy sauce and some wasabi. So next we are going to make some pickled salmon. Water, sugar, bay leaf, few cloves, traditionally a lot of carrots. Gives a very nice natural sweet flavor. And after it's already boiling, get nice seasoning, then we will add the vinegar, because we don't want to boil out the acidity of the vinegar. So this is chilled pickling liquid, and we will marinate it about 24 hours. It's not very traditional way of cooking salmon. We will use for smoking elder wood from Finland. It's one of the very soft woods, so it gives a very rich smoke flavor in a very low temperature, which means that the smoke will not get bitter. We use some Finnish juniper tree for refreshing gin and tonics, but this is actually the juniper tree, and it will give really nice extra flavor for the salmon. We will let the first bitter smoke, I call it evil smoke, to come out, because it's yellow and it will make everything really bitter. So that's why some people don't like smoked food, because they think it's too smoky or bittery, but this way it will just taste pleasant, soft smoke, rich flavor. So this is cold smoking. It gets smoked, but the smoke is not hot enough to cook it, just to give flavor. Actually, this is just my own invention of cold smoking. This is not the traditional way. So that was my salmon story.
在北欧国家，豪放的当地人喜欢用伏特加来搭配当地出名的熏三文鱼或熏马鲛鱼一起吃。它可以是开胃酒，也可以是饭后酒，更是传统鱼子酱的最佳配餐。
So in Nordic countries, we also like to drink wine. Aquavit is, the meaning is water of life, and that's what it really feels like after a couple of shots. But it's a hard liquor. It's seasoned with fennel seeds, caraway seeds, and grains of paradise. So it's really nice, like a little bit like a fennelly dill flavor, and that's why it's a really good match with salmon. Like for example, this rare aquavit Lini for Norway. Lini means line, meaning equator, and this aquavit has traveled twice across equator in the cherry wood caskets, so it gets more flavor when it moves around the caskets. Gift of Finland, vodkas. Koskenkorva is actually it's a town in west of Finland where we have a lot of flat farmland, and these vodkas are seasoned with different wild berries like lingonberry, wild blueberry, green apple. This one is really nice with desserts, vanilla vodka. We enjoy these vodkas from these familiar Stone Age glasses, also from Finland. It's a soapstone, carvable, but during all those years under pressure, it got different kind of qualities, so it keeps hot or cold extremely well. So you can cook on it, you can use it in sauna, or then you can have your drink on it.
北欧菜系个性十足，得天独厚的地理位置使其拥有食材上的绝对优势。水质清澈，鲜香甜美，是全球食客最为推崇的蓝色美食的乐土。